Today I'm making postcard pendants. I'm taking the artwork from a handmade postcard and turning it into this lovely pendant. I found a vendor on Etsy that sells the backings, the glass, and the chains as sets. So I bought a bunch of those sets, and all I have to do is add my artwork, which I sized to the size of the tray. These are 25 by 35 millimeters. So the artwork is sized so that the glass fits right on top of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is split these images apart, but I'm not going to cut around the edge of the artwork. I'm just going to cut them loosely for now. So here's a piece of my artwork, and I have some diamond glaze, which is a clear acrylic glaze, and I'm just going to draw a little bit of a line of glaze. It really doesn't take very much of this, and you want to be really gentle with the glaze. You don't want to get any bubbles in it, so don't shake the bottle. And don't squeeze the bottle too hard. And what I'm doing now is I'm just laying this glazed piece of glass onto the image, and I'm trying not to push down on it, because if I push down, the glaze will squirt out. So I'm just sort of floating it onto the image, making sure that all four sides are image and not white. The glass is covering image rather than white paper. And then I'm just going to slide this over here, and it's going to sit and dry for at least an hour. I'm probably going to leave these overnight because I have another project to work on today. But you really want to make sure that they're dry before you move on to the next step. Another thing to know, these are images printed with a color laser printer. If you're using an inkjet printer, you want to seal your images before you start all this gluing, because this diamond glaze is water-based. So you want to seal it with something like microglaze. So a little bit of glaze, and float it onto the image. And you just kind of want to guide it into place, and you'll feel the diamond glaze start to stick. That's when you can move it out of the way and let it be. It's kind of squirrely for a minute, and then it starts to set, and that's when you want to stop messing with it and let it dry. I just came to check on these, and I went ahead and trimmed one of these, but you can see on the back of this is printed on 32-pound laser print paper, and you can see that there's a little bit of wetness on the back. So as these dry, you can actually check them and see whether they're dry completely by flipping them over, and you can see the damp spots on the back. So I'm going to let these sit for a little while longer. I guess they've been sitting for about 2 hours so far. And they're still a little bit cloudy from the wet medium. So I'm going to let these dry a little bit longer before I trim. So here are my images that have been drying overnight. And you can see there's a little staining on the back side, but I pressed on this and I poked at it with a pin, and it's completely dry. So now all I have to do is trim. And I'm using scissors to do this. Small, sharp scissors are best, but you can also use a craft knife if that's more comfortable for you. And I'm just letting the glass guide my scissors so that I'm trimming right around where the glass is. And then coming back and hitting a few places where it seems to be sticking out. And that's pretty much all there is to it. These have sort of rounded corners. It doesn't take too much rounding to get around them, so. And now that these are trimmed, this one needs a little more trimming. I'm trying to make sure I get all the white trimmed away. Now that these are all trimmed, I can drop them into the pendants. Yep. So I need a little glue for that. This is E6000, which is my solvent glue of choice. If you have another glue that you like better, you can use that. And I'm just going to do a little bit of glue all around in the center here, so that when I drop this in and push down, it'll spread out to the edges. And that's it. Now I just need to let it dry. Here are a bunch of my finished pendants ready to be packaged up and sent off to their new owners. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.